What's up, everyone? I'm Chris Rogers from Rockin' Waves 11294, and you're watching WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamerInsFXTV. I'm Billy Boudreaux. This is going to be my review of WWE's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view for this year as we open up let's talk a little bit about the pre-show. The pre-show, it was Tensai and Brodus Clay taking on Team Rhodes Scholars. It was actually kind of open and shut. Team Rhodes Scholars getting back to, which team was it going to be? Was it going to be the team that was being heavily pushed, or the team that was, recently disbanded and then getting back together for one night only? I think it was going to be the team that's being pushed, and the fans really seem to respond well to Brodus Clay and Tensai, so that's the team they went, and that's the team that went. Apparently now they got a finish now, a combination of that back senton and the splash. I think it's called That's Funky. I think. I am not 100% positive about that, but it was like a combination of that splash and got the win for Brodus Clay and Tensai. So, like I said, pretty much open and shut. I was going to go 3 out of 5 on this, but it's because the Funkadactyls were there and you got to see the booty up entrance. 3.5 out of 5. Officially opening match for Elimination Chamber was the World Heavyweight title on the line as Alberto Del Rio just defending against the Big Show. I have some reservations about that. I really think, the way the pay-per-view was kind of structured, I really don't know, because to me, the way that they structured this pay-per-view, to me, honestly, it says that the World Heavyweight title, even though it was a very prestigious title in WCW, because guys, remember, that is the WCW title belt, and it was a very prestigious belt. WWE has taken it and just taken a big old dump on it. Now, I know a lot of people out there, including Southern Man Ashley, and I think the Shining Star Rick Star would probably disagree with me on that assessment. But look at this. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. Even Edge's last match, defending the World Heavyweight title against Alberto Del Rio, that was the opening match for WrestleMania. It was the opening match for that WrestleMania. We got it as an opening match here. I mean, World Heavyweight title, to me, should be just as big as your WWE title. You should have that. You should have that kind of respect, where it should be further down in your match structure, not opening up your pay-per-view. But now that I've said my piece, let me go on to the match here. A lot of people were thinking, Big Show's going to win, but I really didn't see that happening, because I really didn't see any point to them putting the title back on the Big Show. To me, with the face turn they had with Del Rio, it was, he was having a very good push, and he was having a very good run, and apparently WWE decided to stick with Del Rio. Del Rio gets the win via the cross arm breaker, where Big Show actually tapped out. Got to call Del Rio on for missing the kick to the bucket. At one point in the spot, Ricardo Rodriguez had Big Show distracted. Then, he was holding up the bucket that Del Rio and Ricardo come out with, like to hold a towel and whatnot. And he had him by his head. Del Rio at first went for an enziguri, that running kick. The first time he missed, crowd boos. Understandably why. But then Del Rio was able to get it on the second try. So, but either way, Del Rio is still still the World Heavyweight Champion. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 on this one. I would have gone 4.5 out of 5, but the missing of the kick, it's gotta. I gotta take a half a point away. But not only that, for that reason, but the fact is, I think that this match should not have opened up the pay-per-view. Second match was the United States title on the line, which saw Tony Cesaro taking on The Miz. When I first looked at it, I would have seen like Miz overcoming the odds. you know, beating Antonio Cesaro cleanly and becoming the United States champion. What actually happened in this match was something I never really saw coming. And at one point, Miz was getting ready to put on the figure 4 leg lock. He had the one of Cesaro's legs up, ready to do the twist. Cesaro then kicks out one of the legs of the Miz and inadvertently lands in the crotch region of Antonio Cesaro, which the referee only saw that part of the move and therefore had no other alternative than to disqualify the Miz. So Antonio Cesaro retains the United States Championship. See, that was the thing I was really debating on, is whether or not it would have been a clean finish. And it didn't, but it still doesn't take away the fact that this was a very good match. And, you know, maybe this could be another way to prolong the feud. You know, I was originally thinking that another way to prolong the feud between Miz and Antonio Cesaro was to have Miz win the United States Championship, but they didn't go that far. So, you know, maybe we'll have them tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, which I will be going to, by the way. Next up, 4 out of 5 on the United States title match. Next up, we had the Elimination Chamber match. Now, guys and gals, for those of you who don't know, I tried to put up a preview video, and Pinnacle just didn't want to cooperate with me at the time. But at the time I was recording it, I had 2 picks to win the Elimination Chamber. My first pick was Mark Henry, because, you know, they brought him back and they were just pushing him like crazy. I mean, he was going through guys left and right. And my other pick was Jack Swagger, just because of the fact that they seem to be changing his gimmick a little bit. And I think tonight was really, really good evidence of the changing of the gimmick of Jack Swagger, because he didn't really... First off, he had new music, and for a second I thought I was watching CNN, because he kind of had that music feel like, this is CNN with Anderson Cooper. You know, next thing you know, Anderson Cooper's going to flag my video. Anyway, yeah, then he had new music, like I said, and, you know, he didn't really call himself the All-American American anymore. It's just the real American Jack Swagger. And I think it would have been too corny for them to come out to Hulk Hogan's old music, you know, I'm a real American, you know, and stuff like that, because I really don't think that... I think that would have hurt the gimmick more than helped. And they want Swagger to be heel with this gimmick, and so I guess they went for the CNN News music for Swagger. Well, let me go through the eliminations. There were no eliminations. The order... They started out with Jericho, and they started with Daniel Bryan. Next came the Viper, Randy Orton. Then came Kane. No, I apologize. My mistake. We had they started off with Daniel Bryan and Chris Jericho, then Jack Swagger, then Kane, then Randy Orton, then Mark Henry. No eliminations until Mark Henry came in, and then Mark Henry eliminated 2 guys. He eliminated Daniel Bryan and Kane, and then we had a big team up. Swagger kicked Mark Henry in the head, then Jericho hit the code breaker, and then Randy Orton hit the RKO. Randy Orton pins Mark Henry. He's eliminated. That's my top pick. My arms up in the air, like, where in the world are they going to go here? Then Mark Henry destroys all 3 guys for eliminating him. And then we go back and forth between all 3 guys until Randy Orton counters the Lion Salt into the RKO, pinning Chris Jericho. And then immediately after that pin, Jack Swagger rolls up Randy Orton and pins him, and making Jack Swagger the winner of the Elimination Chamber. And guys and gals, if you think about it, it actually makes sense. Because think about the gimmick that Swagger is implementing and is using now with Zeb Coulter. It makes sense to use Swagger versus Del Rio for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. Swagger with the real American gimmick having problems, him and Zeb Coulter having problems with immigrants and stuff like that, going against Alberto Del Rio from Mexico for the World Heavyweight title. The gimmick and the angle almost writes itself, if you think about it. It almost kind of writes itself, but I'll be very interested to see where they go. 4.5 out of 5 on the Elimination Chamber. Next up, we had the Shield taking on John Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback. All eyes on John Cena, the Royal Rumble winner. You know, he's got his WWE Championship match coming up at WrestleMania. So a lot of people, including yours truly, were thinking, you know, you need to push him in a positive facet instead of a negative facet. You know, have him have the win and get momentum into that. But I think, you know, yeah, it was said somewhere, and it made me start thinking that, yeah, the Shield might lose credibility as a group in the WWE if they lost, and which is essentially their second match. So, yeah, WWE pulls out this maneuver, and where Ryback had, I believe it was Seth Rollins up. Cena had just given the attitude adjustment to Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns spears Ryback, which causes Rollins to fall onto Ryback. Roman Reigns takes out John Cena. Sheamus was already out of the equation, and Ryback is the one who ends up getting pinned. Now, there are pros and cons about it, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure the fact they didn't want Cena to get pinned because of the fact that he's their number one contender, you know, for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. They didn't want to have him lose momentum in a sense. Well, he's on the losing team, but he wasn't the one who got pinned. So, I do applaud WWE for actually pulling out a good move with this, because it was something I didn't see coming. A lot of people were too really focused on, including yours truly, on the fact of that, you know, Cena's the number one contender. They want to make him look good. They don't want him to lose, so they're gonna have his team win. Instead, we have the Shield that ends up coming out the victors. Now, 4 out of 5 on this one. This was a very good pay-per-view, by the way, barring a couple of matches. Dolph Ziggler comes up to start cutting a promo. Booker T interrupts him and saying he ain't gonna waste everybody's time, and saying that, you know, he's the best there is, and, you know, he has a guy back there who can do everything he can and a little bit more. And it turns out to be Kofi Kingston, and by all intents and purposes, this was a great match. You know, looking at it, Ziggler versus Kofi, I would take any day, because they've had great matches in the past and great feuds in the past. And, you know, this by far was indeed a very good match. The finish came, of course, with Ziggler using the help of Biggie Langston, hitting the zigzag on Kofi Kingston and getting the victory. But apparently, you know, during the match there was a spot where Kofi did a springboard crossbody onto the outside, onto Biggie Langston. Langston didn't like that too much and then began to assault Kofi Kingston. So I wonder if maybe we'll see the starts of a real good feud for Biggie Langston and Kofi Kingston. It's very possible we could see that between these two happening. You never know. You never know. 4 out of 5 on Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston. Now, one of the matches which was just sucked the life out of everybody. That is Caitlyn and Tamina. No offense to Caitlyn, because I think she's improving. Tamina, what the I stopped myself from saying a bad word. But what the F are you doing in the ring? I mean, you have Tamina dominate about 75-80% of the match, and then one spear later from Caitlyn's the winner. And, you know, the only real build to this match only happened on the WWE app. And it was from Monday Night Raw last week. You know, if you wanted to push your Divas title and the Divas title match, why not just freaking show it on the air? Instead, You only show it on the WWE app, which tells me this: WWE does not care about the Divas anymore. That's just my impression. I'm only speaking for myself, but that's the way I see it. 3 out of 5. Now, here comes the moment of truth. The WWE Championship on the line. The Rock taking on CM Punk. Guys and gals. Alright, now, if any of you out there actually thought that they were going to put the title on CM Punk, knowing that John Cena lurking in the background with his #1 contendership after winning the Royal Rumble match, and if you thought that CM Punk was going to come out with the WWE title, no, you know what? I was going to say something else. I was going to say something bad about you guys, but the fact of the matter is this, you know, what do the fans want to see more? Do they want to see Rock versus Cena more, or do they want to see Punk versus Cena more? And evidently, the way WWE views it, they want to see, the fans want to see Rock Cena too. So apparently, it isn't just once in a lifetime, as somebody had said on Twitter. It's twice in a lifetime. So now we're going to have The Rock versus John Cena at WrestleMania. The Rock ends up getting the victory. You know, despite these stipulations. But I get the feeling, you know, this matchup was, to me, tied for match of the night with the Elimination Chamber. It had a great feel to it. The 6-man tag also had a great feel to it, too. It was a good match. I really enjoyed it. But the Rock versus CM Punk match, I believe I was just as into that match as I was with the Elimination Chamber. And, you know, going back and forth. I already knew Rock was going to come out on top because, you know, personally, from a personal standpoint, you know, Rock versus Cena would be a much bigger match than Punk versus Cena. It's no disrespect towards CM Punk. You know, no disrespect intended. But The Rock is honestly a bigger name than CM Punk. Not to say that CM Punk isn't a big name himself. Yes, CM Punk is indeed a very big name in the wrestling industry, but The Rock has, I believe, just a little bit more weight to it than his name. So that's why I honestly feel that The Rock was going to come out on top, and that's the way it happened. The Rock hits the rock bottom and gets the 1-2-3 on CM Punk. Now, you know, referees did go down, and I get the feeling that tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, which will be at the Cajun Dome, which I will be at, that we're going to see something involving, you know, one or two things. One, the promise made by Paul Heyman to Vince McMahon that he will do anything if he added that stipulation. Or two, the CM Punk's going to come out and protest and pitch a fit saying that The Rock intentionally assaulted the referee and that he should have been disqualified and he should be the champion. It's one of two possible scenarios. I'm going to try to talk a little bit more about it on my Raw preview tomorrow, which I will attempt to do live at the Cajun Dome, guys. So be sure you look for that video. So 4.5 out of 5 on the WWE Championship match. Overall score on the Elimination Chamber this year, it's going to get a 4 out of 5. A very decent pay-per-view. The only thing I really disagree about is the match structure. I really disagree with the World Heavyweight Championship opening up your pay-per-view. But then again, I've already made my argument about that. So what I want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view this year. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. And please don't forget to subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So with that being said, I'm Double Beverly Boudreaux saying thank you very much for watching.
Stoke Volunteers. Stoke Volunteers. Stoke Volunteers. Spiritual speaking. Stoke Volunteers. Stoke Volunteers. I'm Haley. Ring Rose. Stoke Volunteers.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual speaking. Stoke Volunteers.